So I've spent some time listening to MGMT's newest album, Loss of Life, released February 23rd, 2024, and is the first studio album in 6 years since Little Dark Age that was released in 2018. It marks their first fully independent release through their mom and pop record label, and it veers in a very different direction from Little Dark Age, but not too far away from the established path of new MGMT. This album is far more depressing than Little Dark Age, but it also has like this hopeful, like light in the darkness type of feel. Tracks like People in the Street and Nothing Changes really give this feel that like no matter how uncertain or dark things get, there is hope in the fact that things can change, but it also, you know, especially Nothing Changes, the lyrics in that track show that change comes when we like least expect it, and it nothing changes when we want it to, really. With very doom and gloom lyrics like, and I feel strange, like I shouldn't be here. Let me know if you receive me. If I could change, then I wouldn't be here. Oh, nothing's gonna change, believe me, so don't leave me on. There's like this theme of feeling like one doesn't belong and they don't feel understood by those around them. Like they know that they feel different and they don't want to, and they could change it if they can, but for whatever reason they can't. And any like assistance or sign to get out of that, they ignore because they don't want to feel let on. So in this bad loop of negative emotions, they want to pretend like things aren't how they are and things can be different. But they know if they do pretend, they can't change. So then it's time for them to start. And this time of uncertainty and darkness could change, but something is preventing them. Lyrics, when it was time to stop pretending, then I could change and I wouldn't be here. Oh, when did all the gods deceive me? I should change. I shouldn't be here, but nothing's gonna change. Believe me. Believe me. Any hope, it feels like some outside force, like the gods, are preventing any like relief from their situation. They know if they stop pretending, they could change and they should change, but they know nothing's going to change because something will happen. Some like a new darkness will arise. Now, the track prior to Nothing Changes, People in the Street, does carry the same theme that like there's this outside like impending force that keeps things in a bad spot. But this track is more like optimistic because there's an acceptance in it. It's like part, it's a bad part of life, but it's like, it's still an adventure. There's still something to go to and go from. But there's this dark fog of like a middle ground of like, I'm going from the past and I'm going into an uncertain future, but it's okay. With the lyrics, life keeps on going, showing you things that you can't unsee, in the sense of unknowing why anything happens to be. And just as the sun comes out again, something is blocking the light, but it's all right. Like, the longer we live, the more baggage we get, and the more experience is we accumulate that we rather not have. Anything happens to be, like anything can happen, and it's just like the sun coming out. Something is blocking the light, right? Like something good in your life can happen, but then an unforeseen terrible event happens and it just shakes up this feeling and then you become lost again, like you're stuck in the darkness. But it's okay because you know that the sun will come out again, and this darkness is finite, not infinite. The inside's still glowing, telling the heart what it wants to hear. But what if it's only lies, twisted apart by fear? This means that, like, we're still going, you're still alive, and you can't tell if what makes you feel better about the situation is just telling yourself, like, what makes you feel better, or if it's, like, or if it's, like, lies, if it's real. Now, after a lyrical analysis of my two favorite tracks on this album, how would I rate this album compared to Little Dark Age? Um, I think Little Dark Age has way more bangers compared to like filler tracks, but this album, like, it has this profound steps into just like being really depressing, but like having a sense of like it's like natural to feel this way. It's like natural to feel stuck. Instrumentally, this album is far more lax than a lot of other MGMT works. It's very low tempo. The most upbeat and happy tracks like Mother Nature and Bubblegum Dog, um, are pleasant to hear, but like lyrically and like the message in those songs didn't connect as deep with me as People in the Streets and Nothing Changes. There's less like psychedelic indie like funk in this album, but there's more like chill, warm, buttery bass tones that are very like it matches the theme of the album, like melancholic but also like uplifting. Like they're like almost like ethereal. And the bizarre thing is, I don't see a lot of people talking about this album online. Like, people are still talking about it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, I think this record is a little. It has massive shoes to fill in Little Dark Age, and I feel like some people won't find a way to appreciate this record because they didn't see this as like a Little Dark Age 2 or like a obvious continuation. This album doesn't fully reinvent the wheel, but like it still goes in its like own distinct direction. Like this is a very different feeling album than Little Dark Age, but they're still very similar and their like composition and sound, right? Also, another thing is this is the first MGMT music in like 6 years, really. Well, like in a full LP. So that could be like another thing. It's like, oh, we waited 6 years for this. Um, I like this album a lot. It's like been growing on me. I listened to it obsessively the last couple of days, and I'm I don't think it's better than Little Dark Age, but I would like listen to it over some of like MGMT's like older work. So far, I'll give this album a 9 out of 10. That can change, but the fact that I'm gonna like revisit it multiple times for the foreseeable future, in my book, that's a 9 out of 10 album. Now, will this album at some point blow up and be like a cult hit like Little Dark Age was? Because remember, Little Dark Age really didn't like become like a mainstream, like big TikTok phenomenon until like the 2020s and it came out in 2018. Um, I'm not sure, right? Because like Little Dark Age was a good album despite the TikTok, you know, following. As it stands, I don't see this album like being anywhere near Little Dark Age's success, but this album has like a more like mature, like kind of like realistic melancholic tone to it. Little Dark Age felt like a little bit more poppy, I would say. This album has way more like it has way less mainstream appeal than Little Dark Age did. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to have like massive TikTok fame. Either way, give it a listen. I can't recommend it enough. Um, yeah. Bye.